Hey y'all, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I am back with another live. It's good to see y'all. I know I did not come on last week. I had a lot going on, okay? I was working on this certification, so I had to just thug it out and get that finished up. Plus, I'm trying to get my kids prepared to take their state examination. But, anyways, I am back and I'm glad to see y'all. We are going to have an amazing live tonight. I'm gonna wait until I see some people come on in before I get started on the topic. Hey, Becky, glad to see you here, sis. You know you always a vibe. You know you always add value to the space. Okay, you know you like a celebrity around here, sis. Yes. As soon as y'all come in, guys, go ahead and hit that like button so that my YouTube can get circulated across these YouTube streets. How you been, Binky? Girl, I been just trying to make time to come on here and talk to the people. Yes, well, I saw the live go up and turn my notification on. Girl, this gonna be a good one. This gonna be a good live, okay? Hey, D Nelly, good to see you here. How you doing today, brother? Go on ahead and y'all make sure y'all hitting that like button as y'all come on in. Real good to see y'all here. Yes, this is gonna be a good live. At first, I thought I was gonna come on here and just talk about, should men be leading women, and that was inspired by the last live I got on, and AP on AP for Life channel. Shout out to him. Asked me what kind of man can lead me, and my answer was no man can lead me. I'm not looking for a man to lead me, right? And I think that's a very individual question, and women need to go through a series of questions, steps, and processes to really determine if that's what they want or if that's what they've been taught they should, be looking for, is a leader or a man to lead them per se. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Okay. But I stumbled upon this 4B movement. And on top of that, I just watched Princella, the Queen Maker. I watched her interview that she did with Rabbi Manis. And y'all, it was good. It was so good. It was such a breath of fresh air, because when you have people who are really intelligent, okay, it's hard to get them in the same space as people who share their same level of intelligence. But when I tell y'all that the conversation on both sides was high level, we could skip the basic talk because everything was up here. Everything was vibrating up here. We ain't have to be worried about these basic low level questions and responses. Everybody was up here. They was meeting each other, and I appreciate that. I've been good, girl, out of town again. Okay, hold on, living your best life. I love that. Actually, I'm gonna play a portion of it here because I want to talk about it, but not too much. I feel like y'all should really go watch the interview, okay? But I'm gonna play a snippet of it, and once you see it, you probably gonna be tempted to click off my live and go over there and watch the whole interview. Hey Chelsea, hey y'all, this is my friend Chelsea. Hey girl, what's up? Been a minute. I'm glad to see you up in here. I think this is gonna be a good one tonight, girl. Fellas, y'all already know the vibes. If you're going to be in here, you got to be able to just keep it real. You got to be able to keep it all the way 1,000, because it's a lot that's going to get said, okay? It's a lot that's going to get said tonight. And understand that my goal is always to help people, right? And in particular, I'm a woman. So I can only speak my experiences as a woman, and I'm one of those people, once I know something or I see something, I'm not at all in denial about what's going on, okay? And let me tell y'all something about these Korean women. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. Let's get right to it. So, if y'all haven't heard, The girls in Korea is acting up, baby. Matter of fact, they shutting it down. Okay, they have what's called the 4B movement, and it's 4B because it stands for like no, like that's what it starts with in your language. So basically, they are saying no children, no marriage, no relationships, no heterosexual sex, none of that, nothing that have to do with men. They have like the lowest birth rate now, and the birth rate is continuing to plummet. Okay, they said clink clink, y'all can't treat us right, we shutting it down. And you know, when we talk about big steppers and standing up in business, they're doing it. Okay, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. I'm gonna find the video so we can talk about this and we can dissect what's going on, because I ain't never seen women just be that much in alignment. I mean, the American feminist movement ain't have nothing on this right here. Absolutely nothing. What's it, y'all? I'm trying to find this right here. Here we go. All right. So I'm pulling up this video. It was on Maria Davis's channel, and I'll link anybody's channel who I pulled up stuff. I'm gonna make sure that I link the videos. Okay, so y'all put a one in the chat if y'all can see my screen. Y'all should be able to see it. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
We have the power to make morons go extinct like dinosaurs. The morons here are just creating mediocrity. They are creating harm to Mother Earth.
My people, are you aware of the 4B movement that started in Korea? It was all over, TikTok, Korea, TikTok, people and women talking about 4B movement. They don't want to have anything to do with men. They don't want to have children anymore. They don't want to even have sex with men at all. They don't want to have anything to do with them because having things to do with them is making their life worse. And now this movement is...
So just to kind of give y'all a little background story, in Korea, women get, for example, there was a situation where this woman had posted a picture of a man. He was like modeling for art, and I'm not excusing her because she definitely should have asked permission. Like she got what she deserved, and she posted a nude picture of a male art model, and apparently she didn't get his permission, and she got sentenced to 4 months in jail. However, that when women do stuff like that, the men never go to jail, and on top of that, they have a really high femicide and rape rate over there. Okay, so a lot of this is coming from that.
Coming to the United States. Have you heard? Let me know down in the comment section. In today's video, we're talking about the 4B movement. Finally, I'm bringing it to my channel. What is your take on this 4B movement? Let's talk about it down in the comment section. I have interesting videos to share with you all. Ladies, talking about the 4B movement. So I put out these interesting videos for you all to watch to the end. So let's watch these videos together, and I'll be back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
We have the power to make morons go extinct like dinosaurs. The morons here are just creating mediocrity. They are creating harm to Mother Earth, disrespecting the planets, and they are cancer to the planet. We don't need that, okay? We can live without mediocrity. We can live without the morons, okay? And if you're continuing to procreate with morons, you're just making little morons. We don't need that sugar foot. Y'all acting like pregnancy is not a high risk as a woman, especially a black woman.
Pause. You know what? I'm gonna have to agree with a lot of what she's saying because I it scares me how much people don't take seriously the responsibility that it takes to become a parent, to be a parent, to cultivate a child. We don't take it seriously in terms of first making sure that this is a partner who their genes need to be carried on. Like, what characteristics of this person who I'm dealing with shows that there needs to be another one of them? Okay. Am I the type of person where there needs to be another one of me running around here? Um, are we capable of creating a child that is going to add value? Or are we just going to have children because we've been told that that's the thing to do and that is our purpose? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having kids. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's just scary that people don't take it as seriously as it is. You know, I've heard I had an ex-boyfriend tell me that he feels like having a child is less of a commitment or responsibility than getting married. What? That was just wild to me. You know, that's bringing a whole nother life into this planet. But people just doing stuff to be doing stuff because it feels good. Or I see a lot of times people see people post cute babies on the internet and all of a sudden they got baby fever and then they moving in that. They not just letting it pass. Like, you really woke up today and decide you want to have a baby. It's crazy. So yeah, we definitely need to cut down on that. I don't care. I don't care who you are, you know, man or woman. We need to really take that seriously.
Woman, you can possibly die from childbirth, and you out here going half on a baby with a moron that hasn't even bought you a ring or signed paperwork to commit their life to you. How silly. But you thinking, oh, he gonna stay because he loved me. He is just talking. It's all talk, no bite. You need to let people be about that action.
I know that's
you
right.
You need to see paperwork. You need to see funds in the bank account.
Heavy on the funds in the bank.
Being on this fantasy and just being all in la la land as a woman and just thinking that love is sex or love is attention. Love is respect. Does this motherfucker respect you or not?
I love what she said there. Love is respect. Okay, so many people get caught up in bad situations because it's, well, I love them or they love me. You'll stay with a person who is cheating on you, calling you out your name, beating on you, because at the end of the night when y'all make up, that person tells you that they love you. They don't even value you. They don't even value your self-esteem. They don't value your honor and they don't respect you. Love is not a feeling. See, feelings come and go. Okay. You could feel a deep sense of desire, want, and care for a person today, and 6 months from now, wake up and be like, I don't even want this person. So if love is supposed to be the most powerful energy on earth, and it's a feeling that can just come and go like that, and that ain't that, you know, then what's the point? What's the point? But because that's not love. That's not love. I literally had that thought yesterday. Love is respect, and people that don't respect you don't care how they make you feel. They don't love you. Yeah. Yeah. Come on now. Like, everybody that I've ever respected, you know, that regardless of how I felt about them at the time, my respect for them kept me from crossing certain lines. Okay. I thought about how my actions would affect them. Okay. And if you're just doing stuff and you're not thinking about how your actions affect other people, or you don't even care enough to keep it real with them, or you don't, you know, a lot of people have this thinking of what the other person know don't hurt them. But let me tell you something: integrity and respect, you do that whether or not somebody is watching. Okay. For example, my homegirl Chelsea, that's in the comments right now. Um, if Chelsea leave $100 on the table and she sit there in front of me, it don't matter that I didn't take that $100 off the table because she was sitting there watching me. What's gonna show my integrity is when she get up and leave the room, or she forget that $100 at my house. I call her and say, "Hey sis, you left this $100 on my table," and I don't take her money. That is the true measure of integrity. That's the true measure of whether or not I respect her. It's not about what I do in your face, honestly and truly.
If he respects you, he will put his life on the line and sign some paperwork for you.
Nickelodeon was kid everything, but that marked one of the darkest chapters.
If he's not willing to do that, don't have
Let me
no
fast forward through
Which
this.
they literally are.
Hold on.
baby with no modern day bum.
I'm a big fan. Korean women literally just gave up on their men. They're like, they're fucking assholes. They're not gonna change, so we're all gonna go extinct. Which they literally are. By the way, Korea has like the lowest birth rates in the world. It's like really bad. But I just think that's so fucking funny. That's also very Korean. Like Korean as an ethnicity is about to go away, and Korean women are literally just like.
I'm so glad you asked. The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. They are not dating men. They are not marrying men. They are not having children with men. They're not even sleeping with men anymore. And it's called the 4B movement because the Korean words for those four things all start with the letter B. This kind of first started happening around 2016 when Kim Ji-young, born 1982, a novel came out. And it is a fictional book about a Korean every woman and all of the misogyny and sexism that she's experienced from literally being a child all the way to her being an adult, suffering with postpartum depression after having her child. Now, this book became a runaway bestseller among South Korean women because they were like, she's just like me for real. And that's kind of when it started cooking, right? Now, the movement officially got its name in 2019. And
Now, I'm going to pause this because I feel like a lot of people, this is what I've been hearing. We had a conversation about this on my last live. Like, and I want to say this to kind of add to what she's saying here. Because yes, women, we do dissect media. Like we intake media, we read books, we watch movies and things like that. And a lot of men feel like we're influenced by other women, which sure, that might be the case. But at the same time, the art has to connect with you. And the best kind of art connects with your real life experiences. So if women are reading these books and watching these novels and they're listening to the experiences of other women and they sound similar to their experience, you can't say other women are brainwashing us. Just a connection, us connecting and being able to have compassion, empathy, and also a shared experience with one another doesn't mean that another person is brainwashing us, because we wouldn't even connect with those messages if they didn't resonate with us. Okay, I ingest a lot of stuff every day. It's hard not to, but what does not resonate with my experience never touches me. And I'm saying this because again, we're going back to a lot of men, especially when we talking about in the Black community. They're quick to tell Black women that we are influenced by the white woman's feminism, right? But like I said in my last live, hey Nicole, good to see you here, sis. Like I said in my last live, I'm a woman first. And let's be clear, Black men in this country got the right to vote before even white women did. Okay? And that's just facts. And if you don't know that, then you don't know history. That's on the books. And I'm not going to allow, see, this has been the problem why women can't come together. Men putting women in competition with each other. Okay. You got women who are lighter skin or even white feeling like, well, at least I'm not at least I'm a little bit better than these Black women. So I'm going to, act like it. And then you have a lot of, because of that, you have a resentment that builds up in Black women toward these women when really, we all ain't no better than each other. Okay, this is a false sense of competition. And when you have that level of competition and you never get nowhere, it's always us being used as the tools of men against each other, right? So I don't go for that, you know. I'm glad that women are able to connect through media. Now we got social media. Now we have the internet. I'm glad that we're able to see, hey, this sister is going through the exact same thing that I'm going through. See, because before we all thought we were crazy, or that, you know, this is just a, you know, it's just everybody that I'm dating is like that. And now we're starting to see, no, there are deeper societal issues. There seems to be some commonality going on. There seems to be some common patterns going on here. Exactly. People that do what they want in your face with no regard to how they make you feel show you their level of respect, love for you. Even at my age, I'm still learning. Yes, girl. And the thing is, we believe that when we allow somebody to disrespect us and we stay, that eventually one day they will appreciate us because we stayed and we didn't give up on them and we saw the good in them. That's not how that goes. Okay. What happens is they begin to feel disgusted with you because the truth is they know the truth. You're not staying because you're just this loving person. You're staying because you're too weak to go. You're staying because you lack or you feel that you lack. They understand you're staying because you can't leave. And you don't get points for being a weak bitch. And I hate to say it that way, but that's just the reality. And that's just how they see you. Because if you could walk away from somebody who is clearly mistreating you, then you would. But you stay because in your mind, you done lied to yourself that you can't. Okay? You done convinced yourself that whatever you could gain from leaving pales in comparison to staying with a person. You done convinced yourself that God don't have bigger for you. You done convinced yourself that your life revolves around this disrespectful person and that without them, you're nothing. You can't survive. You can't do without. And it's just a lie. And if you understood it was a lie, then you would step. You would. Okay.
It's just been going ever since. It's so successful, in fact, that now South Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. The number of deaths in South Korea outnumber the number of births in South Korea. And it's hilarious because all the men and the government are like, oh my God, what do we do?
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there, and y'all can go watch that full video on Maria Davis' channel. I don't want to play the sister's whole video, but I actually want to get some of y'all up here. Anybody want to get on here? You don't gotta get on camera. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, y'all. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Guests can stream this to their own destination. Yeah, y'all can do that too. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. And if you want to come up here and you can turn your mic off if you don't want to be on camera, ladies. But if you want to come on here, I'll put you on here so we can talk. I like that. If y'all don't, that's fine. But I put the link in the chat. Anybody, D Mally, if you want to come up here, anybody who wants to get their opinion on the matter, come on. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If you want to watch, that's fine. Come on now. I put the link in the chat. So if y'all want to come up here, the link is there. I'll see you backstage. So I think that American women are headed in this direction. I don't know if it'll be something like a movement. I've been seeing this getting traction in on American TikTok and on my YouTube feed. I don't know if we'll have like a name for it, if we'll say, oh, this is the American 4B movement. But I think naturally American women are just moving into no, you know, segs. I'm trying to like, these names sound so weird. I wish I could just say the words. I think naturally American women are just moving into like, they don't want to be married, or they don't want to be in relationships, or I it's not uncommon for me to meet women who have not been active in a while. Like, that's just a really common thing. And um I feel like if men weren't feeling it, then a lot of them wouldn't be as upset as they are, or wouldn't be talking about it so much on the internet. Because men who are getting everything that they want from women, they not sitting on the internet complaining that women's standards are high. And I'm starting to even see this. It used to be if a brother like looked kind of good, or he was handsome, or he had a nice body, he could get a woman. But let me tell y'all, it's been hard for them men too. They getting on the internet talking about how they having a hard time. And it's not even necessarily they're having a hard time finding women that will lay down with them. I don't think that would probably ever be a problem for certain men. It's that they're having a hard time finding women that want to cater to them. They're finding women who were like, okay, well, that was cool, but you just for that. That is what it is. Or they're dealing with women who were saying, yeah, I can be with you, but at the same time, I'm still gonna have my own life, and I can't live my life for you. And they don't know how to respond to that. They're not finding women that are just being, crazy and dumb over them, and it's earlier and earlier. Okay, it's earlier and earlier, and we got to thank the internet for that, because a lot of the times women did not even know how to recognize game, or recognize, or just didn't even know themselves enough to say, hey, I'm gonna put catering to a man on the back burner, and I'm gonna focus on me, and I'm gonna live my dreams and my goals. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna look for this interview that Princella did with Rabbi Manis. I think that's how you say his name. Y'all, I gotta give it to that Princella. That girl is brilliant. And I don't care what nobody say. Um, what I really respect about her channel is she don't just have people on here that's on the internet talking on her channel. Now she'll talk to the common person, but she also brings science into it. She brings a psychologist into it. She brings biologists into the mix. And this time she brought an actual Jewish rabbi into the mix. And I appreciate her for introducing her subscribers to a variety. Okay. Give me one second. Okay, I'm going to share this. Guys, remember to hit that like button as y'all come in. Oh, also another thing, I posted in my community feed, ladies. I am doing if any of y'all are dealing with heartbreak, or you're having a hard time letting go of a toxic relationship, baby, I'm the queen of letting go at this point. I love to turn lemons into lemonade. Do y'all know, don't nothing fuel me more than having to let go of somebody that can't act right. When I tell you I get on my hustle, I've gotten really good at transmuting that kind of energy. So I'm doing a workshop. It's going to be a small group of 5 women, because a lot of people, like, they can't necessarily like afford a therapist, and therapists be super expensive. But at the same time, um you want to be able to like connect to other women, and I wanted to be able to at least be able to talk to all the women in the workshop individually and give feedback to everybody. So I wanted to keep it really, really small. And it's a 2 hour and 30-minute workshop via Zoom. It is $40, but that's less than $20 an hour when you break it down. And I promise you, it's gonna be the best money you ever spent. You gonna get more from that than going to the therapist, because honestly and truly, a lot of these therapists, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't do enough study to know what they're talking about. Okay. And that ain't to down like therapists, because I'm sure there's some really great therapists. I'm just saying it's hard to find well-rounded people in general. What is this? Present. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to learn how to work this. Here we go.
Teenagers need a relief from these social pressures.
Correct.
So a teenage girl who has a boy in her life, her femininity is messed up.
Correct.
What is it? Girl interrupted.
Yes,
She's like,
yes.
she's not going to grow up to be what she's supposed to be because she's already compromising.
Correct.
And the boy will never get to be a man because he's trying to accommodate feminine energy, and he's not even a man yet.
Correct.
Okay, so I love that the rabbi said this, because Princella has went on several platforms, one of them being Hardly Initiated, and she has talked about how she believes in separation of the sexes. She's said several times she also believes that from a very young age, boys should be separated from women. They should not live in the home with women, and they should be raised by their fathers and be among women, because if you don't do that with boys, they never learn how to be independent. They never learn how to not rely on a woman. Hey, skinny boy, how are you today? And I find this to be true. Have y'all ever seen, now, I'll be completely honest and say this. I know plenty of people, women included, that just go from person to person to person. They might be dating 2 or 3 people at the same time. They might have a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and got a few other ones. They always keep something in the pocket because they're scared to be alone, just in case whatever they got going on right now don't work out, which is crazy to me, because in my mind it's like, well, if this don't work out, I can go get another one. I don't have to have a backup. It's okay for me to take time and space. So I never understood that mentality of trying to keep something in the pocket just in case what you have ain't working out. To me, that's just weak. That's weak. That's weak. That's living in fear. You scared you can't get nobody else if whatever you got going on don't work. It's 8 billion people on the planet. What? And when I tell you, I've met people who cannot, like, literally have never been alone in their life, have always been in a relationship, like from the time they was young teenagers all the way through adulthood. They've always had somebody hitting their line, texting them. Even if they claimed they were single, they was always texting somebody. They always had somebody they can call to come over at 3 a.m. They've never spent an extensive period of time just working on them, focusing on them, and sleeping alone at night, being okay with their phone being dry. Okay. And here's the thing. I feel like it's far more easier for women to break out of that, especially once we really get into it and we start seeing the benefits of being single. A lot of men are too afraid to even dip their toe in the water with that. Okay, because they're so used to a woman helping them with everything, even if it's just having my mama in my life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men, do y'all know it's some men that go back and forth between their woman and their mama? Like if my mama not doing for me, then I'm into it with my mama, then me and my girl are in a better place. And then if my girl get to tripping, I'm all over here at, with my mama. And it's like, we against my girl right now. It's weird energy. I remember when I was in college, guys would use girls to do their laundry, another one to do his homework, another one to sleep with them, etc. Men struggle with independence. Oh, girl, when I tell you I had some students who played football, right? And I had a lot of them in one class, and they would never do their work, or they wouldn't pay attention, or when they did pay attention to do their work, I had to always pump and prime them or make the lesson just super entertaining and competitive. And I had to tell them, I'm not here for your entertainment. Learning ain't fun all the time. Sometimes it's just to sit and get. I'm not up here to perform for you. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do when you go to college? Because all of them wanted to go play college ball. What you gonna do to college when you go to college? And you got to do your own, you got to actually do your work and you got to write papers. Them boys told me we gonna get a girl to do it. I promise you they did. They said, find a shorter to do it, find a girl to do it. That was all their answer. And they ain't never been to college. So who do y'all think is advising them to move like that? Okay. I met so many young boys who told me that they fathers told them to move, or the men in their life told them just like that, get you a girl to come do this and that. Yep. I'm telling you. Both sexes are like that. One man for food, one man for sex, one man for shopping, etc. No, I'm gonna disagree with you on that, skinny boy. Women learn to be that way. Women over time, most of the time when I meet women who were like that, one for this, one for that, they over time just kind of learn the game, and they see that men do that, so they begin doing that. But that's not how we're socialized. That's not how we are when we come up as young girls and we're young women. That's not what it is. We all wanted one little boyfriend, or one little, one guy that we were supposed to sit down with. That's not our thought process initially. I think women kind of go through this evolution. Like most women start off wanting to be with one man, and they have the fairy tale. And a lot of women stay stuck on that. Then you get the jadedness, right? You get the jadedness where you kind of start to see what it really is. And then that's when you get a lot of women thinking that they can be like men when we can't. And say, oh, I'm going to have a roster, I'm going to have a team, and I'm going to be able to compartmentalize. But this drains a woman in the way that it don't necessarily wear a man down. It could wear a man down, but I think it just wears us down so much quicker to where you just get disgusted with the whole thing, right? And then that's when you kind of see a lot of those women who tried that thing, that one for food, one for, getting active, and one for shopping. Then eventually those women, either they need men financially and they continue to deal with them. But if you got a woman that's independent and got her own, she be like, why am I doing this? And that's when you see them just stop dating altogether. Yeah, skinny boy. A lot of times, by the time you see the sprinkle girls and they get to Shira's channel, they done got their heart broke, everything, and they're like, okay, I'm ready to go to the dark side, right? And a lot of women don't understand, they're not built like Shira. Shira, she a different breed. Most women aren't built for that. I saw a woman doing a video saying the Shira 7 to Princella pipeline is real, because you get these girls that start watching Shira thinking that they can live that sugar baby lifestyle, or that they have the mental fortitude to just deal with rich men for money. And they don't understand that the way these men move is really so abhorrent to them, and it's gonna be detrimental to their mental health. So you have a lot of those women, once they realize this really ain't the move for me, and I'm tired of giving my time, because you got to think about it. That's a lot of time wasted, especially if you already have your own money and you have your own job and career. Why am I going out to dinner to get this man to pay for my food, and I got to look at him the whole time, and his face literally disgusts me? Or I have to listen to this whack, mediocre conversation. Or every time I want to go shopping, this man is asking me for a nasty picture. Or every time I want to go shopping, I got to worry about this man trying to kiss me. Like, eventually, you probably going to get disgusted with that process. Me personally, I could never go out to eat with somebody I don't like. I don't think I'd be able to digest my food. Okay. I've never had a roster. I don't like being active with multiple men or giving energy and time to multiple men. I believe most women are like that. And most of the time when I see women who can do that all at one time, they are in survival mode. Like, they don't have their own money like that. They whatever these men are providing, they need it. Men don't reward women that Netflix women men don't reward women that Netflix and chill or don't require expensive dates. That woman is getting used, or even just to date it off. Like, let's take the expensive part out. I can't tell you how many women I see on Facebook who complain that men don't take them out on dates, but they have kids or they're pregnant. I saw one girl who had like a couple of kids say she's never been taken out on a date. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? How are y'all even getting, what's going on? Are y'all like meeting these men on Tinder and then like hooking up? And I'm not saying y'all, the people that's in chat. I just kind of want to know, are y'all meeting these men on Tinder or hooking up? Are y'all meeting them at the club and going home like literally that night? Like, what's going on to where y'all are dating men who have never taken you anywhere? Or if you wanted them to take somewhere, they wouldn't take you anywhere. What's going on? Because before you do anything, that should have been, the man should have, like, I don't understand. I must be rare. I had one girlfriend in middle school, high school, and college. No side chicks. Yeah, you rare, skinny boy. You definitely rare. You rare. So is it that the nice woman doesn't win? Like they say the nice guy doesn't win. I don't think it's that. Oh, D Mally, you said you backstage. Okay, hold on. Let me answer Binky's question and then I'm gonna bring you up. I don't think it's that. You know what it is? I don't think it's that the nice woman doesn't win. I think we're confusing nice with a lack of understanding. Okay. Because a lot of the times women will just, oh, I think my camera is about to die. Hold on, y'all. I hope it's not. A lot of the times we confuse nice with a lack of boundaries. Okay. And we confuse nice with low self-esteem. Or just simply not knowing. A lot of the times girls will go along with certain things and do certain things because you just don't know enough. Right? So nice don't necessarily mean that you're giving everything to a man or that you don't have expectations. You're not a nice girl just because you met a guy, you talked to him over the phone and you went to his house and Netflix and chill. That doesn't make you nice. That means that you don't understand that men work off of reward, right? And if you go to a man's house and you give it to him without him having to do anything at all, then that will always be the level at which he engages you at. He don't got no reason to take you out on a date. Why? Because you already gave him the reward with no work. So I think we confuse the two. Yeah, nice often equals naive. Okay, D Mally, I'm gonna try to bring you up. Hold on, let me see. I think I might need to put my camera on the charger. Y'all hold up real quick.
I could put on the charger, Mom.
Okay, can y'all hear me? I had to go ahead and just my camera died and it's not coming back on, but I'm gonna put you on, D Mally. Can y'all hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can still hear me. Okay. Okay. Hey D Mally, what's up?
Hey, Mariah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you tonight?
Hey, good, good. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I think we
Oh,
lost some people, but hopefully they'll come back on.
yeah, yeah. And look, they
So,
need to have patience.
right?
But it's okay. They'll come. People will come back in. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I tap in with you because I think your channel, I think the direction you're going in is a good direction. So I really want to be a part of this so that, hopefully in the near future, we can kind of get people together and we can kind of talk about these issues between, the men and women and things like that. But I want to kind of
Mhm.
say, just put something on the table. Um,
Okay.
when you said, I thought about the single parenting issue in United States, and
Hmm.
we a lot of people always talk about it in the affecting the man and the boy, that ends up being a man, but it affects the girls too. Because what you
Okay.
just said, what you were saying about, women who've never been on dates or had two kids with a guy and they never really been out on a date. It's almost like maybe the models that they got from their single mom or single dad was, they didn't really weren't shown that they needed to be courted or, one thing like, how when you used to go to the mall, you go to a store when you were younger, you knew what you wanted to get. And when the salesperson came up to you, they'd be like, "Oh, can I help you?" Like, "Nah, I know what I want." But then
Right.
as you get older, you kind of, I started getting this feeling like I want the salesperson to talk to me because I kind of want them to sell me the product. You know what I'm saying? Give
Yeah.
me a reason why I need to buy this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of similar to dating. You know what I mean? Like as I get older, I don't want to just wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I want to see what kind of substance the woman has. How far is she gonna push me to, she knows she wants me. I know she knows I want her, but what kind of combinations are she gonna make me do to get to that point? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps a person around is that you selling the product rather than just giving it up for free. You know what I'm saying? So what you
Yeah.
think about that?
No. Okay. So it's a couple things I had to say about that. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, so for example, in Dallas, right? We have this street. It's called Harry Hines. You know what the Blade is, and people be like it's the Blade. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like kind of like the red light district in Dallas. Now you can go to the
Hmm.
club, you can go inside the club and pay your money and go inside the club, or you got girls that's on they stroll. And a lot of the times, what you'll find is the men will bypass the girls. And I know you were talking about in terms of dating, but I just want to give another example of this. They will bypass the girls that are on the stroll and they will go inside the clubs and try to get a girl who they rather go through the process of trying to convince a dancer who may or may not go, who may or may
Hmm.
not be doing extra on the side. They would rather try and talk to her and
Hmm.
riz her up and try to convince her to leave than just go pay the girls who outside they look the same and you already know what time it is. So I think there's something, in men that inherently, I think they say I was who was I watching? Basically, he was saying that over time, men who just pay for it and they don't have to do any work, over time those men begin to develop a sort of aggression towards women. Why? Because it feels like a lot of times men look to women for morality, and it feels like when men can just go pay for it, it's like I'm already around a lot of men who lack morals, and then I got to come around y'all, and y'all don't got none either. So there's just no good in the world, for real. So those men will begin to become more aggressive towards women over time, and just aggressive in general. But back to what you were saying about like the single parent homes like affecting girls. Yes, I 1000% agree with that. D Mally, like I think it's taken for granted. And I think a lot of times when men do talk about this, they talk about it kind of like to insult the woman, like, oh, y'all's fathers are not there, even though we, especially if you live in the Black community, you know, a lot of us didn't have our dads in the house, men and women included. But I think when you have when you don't have a father in the house to talk to you about men, you kind of flying blind out here, especially if you have a mother that ain't got no sense. Okay, especially if you have a mother who stays stuck on stupid her entire time. Let me see what Nicole said. The reality is a lot of women don't get dates because they don't meet the looks requirement. I mean, I could see that being true in some cases, Nicole, but I done seen some women that they not all, they're not you. You would look at her and be like, dang, somebody I done seen women who are not the typical standard of beauty out on dates with men. Now, could that be true in some cases? Yes, but I done seen some baddies who can't get a man to take them on a date. I promise you, I done seen that. And that's all because of the way that she moves. I'm sorry, D Mally. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to take you off
I
the
got
stage.
knocked out. It's all good.
Okay, yeah. So I don't see some. What do you think about that? And then I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna continue along with that single parent line, D Mally. But what do you think about this that Nicole said? The reality is a lot of women don't get dates because they don't meet the looks requirement. From a man's point of view, what do you think of that?
Mm, mm, mm. I
Is
would
it
say, uh, I mean, I'm a thin guy.
okay?
Let- So if I just said that, you kind of know where I'm going with it,
I
right?
kind of feel like I know where you're going, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been single for 8 years.
Okay.
So I have a good perspective, like you were just saying about guys who kind of can't really be by themselves. So I'm a kind of a good example of, someone who has been by themselves for 8 years. But basically I'm saying I'm in a dating pool, like online or looking at, Tinder and stuff like that. And, I understand why some of these people are online, just because of the weight issues. I'll just put it like that. And I'm not saying, I thought
No,
when she said
you
looks,
can
I was
speak.
thinking maybe the facial, but I think a lot of people who are single and, kind of up in age, it's kind of hard. It's hard because yeah, it's hard for me to kind of look at some of these people like, whoa.
So, do you think it's
So I
more
don't
of the
know.
weight? You think it's more of the weight thing than the face thing going on right now? You can speak
It's
candidly.
a it's
I'm not offended
I
about
mean, it's a
anything,
little bit of
really.
both. It's a, excessive makeup, the piercings, the tattoos.
Okay.
I guess you could say from what I'm saying, I might be a more conservative perspective, but I don't know.
I mean, I get that because I don't like dating men with a whole bunch of tattoos. I don't like that. It's certain things I'm not about to date a man that has a whole bunch of tattoos. You got a face tattoo, and then you walking around here just looking dirty, dingy. You look like we pulled you off the street or off of somebody else's porch. So I mean, I get that. A lot of people might say that I'm prudish too. So I get that. I get wanting to be with somebody who looks like they take care of themselves. And not that if you have tattoos, you look like you don't take care of yourself. I think because I've met really good people with tattoos. I think some people just like it's for me. Let me say this because people should do what they want with their body.
Mhm.
It's just excessive sometimes, especially when we start getting into the face and the neck tattoos, because now I'm afraid, because you don't give a damn. You don't give a damn. I'm sorry, to me, when I see
Yeah.
face tattoos, I see you don't give a damn about nothing. So how can I expect you to give a damn about me? That's how I feel when I see face tattoos. Let me get some of these comments. If a woman doesn't look good, she should seek men at her level. I mean,
Uh,
I mean,
And I would
go
say
ahead,
a
sis.
woman's level sometimes, a lot of times, a lot of women are making $80,000. I mean, I'm in California, so it's a lot of women that's making money out here. So they can be, 200 pounds, but they got a nice car, they got their house. So they're not really looking for a guy who, what I'm saying, is making 50,000 or just a bum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
You
but then
you
you have some women like that. I've met plenty of women who they might not have it, with the weight, or okay, you talking about, looks, and we're just be having an honest conversation. Like, if you're
Mhm.
sensitive, I really can't help that, y'all. We dealing in reality here, because I think a lot of people. Here's the thing: we think about what we want, and we don't think about what other people might want or how they might view us. And nobody is everybody's cup of tea, period. So he's saying, like, if a woman don't look good, she should seek men at her level. It's a lot of women who, like, they focus on money, so they don't have time to pay for their, to take care of their body. That's what they're saying. And they willing
Mhm.
they willing to pay. They can get a man that look good because they willing to pay. They willing to pay all the bills. They willing to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, they willing to trick, and they willing
Yeah.
to keep them a fine man and spend that money. I've seen that too. And they don't got no problem.
And my perspective is like I'm not trying to, cause see, I'm from San Francisco, and I ain't gonna lie to you, like a lot of people I grew up with, they had the mentality.
D Mally, you cut out. Hold on, or is that me? Hello, D Mally. I'm sorry, D Mally, you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
You can hear me now?
I can.
Oh, okay, I don't know what happened. I'm standing in the same spot,
Last thing I
but
heard you say, I grew up in. Where you say you grew up
I'm
in?
San Francisco,
Okay.
the Bay Area, and is known to be. I mean, obviously San Francisco is known for homosexuality. Not as
Mm-hmm.
much now, but I've also heard it's known for like people having game and like a lot of pimping and stuff. And a lot of guys I grew up with, their mentality was to really get a woman who would kind of help them out, like
Oh
you were
yeah.
saying,
Oh
do
yeah.
their homework. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
The
it's
game is
like you
real.
said, the women is tired of being used, especially in America, in the United States, where
Mm-hmm.
guys ain't really doing too much, and they do, so the roles is reversed. So
Yeah.
men do have to step it back up, and like you said, get some independence, learn how to do things for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got to make as much as the women, but you gotta bring something tangible to the table. You know what I'm saying? And I think a man could really benefit off of the support of a woman.
You
I've
know
seen a
what?
lot of guys who've actually come up off of women, where they probably wasn't doing as good, and then at the end of the day, they actually came up. You know what I mean?
You know what, D Mally? I've seen that too. And I feel like, if honestly and truly, because every woman on the internet talking about they want a rich man, right? I think if most women, and it's not gonna be all, but I feel like, at least 50% of these women on the internet saying that. I feel like if most women found a man who was in their looks, window of acceptable, okay, and he had a decent enough job, and he was at least able to pay half the bills, and because this is where men are really getting things messed up at, he helped around the house as far as cooking. She don't want to cook every day, coming in and cooking some nights, or even just helping with the cleaning. When she clean up, don't get it back dirty, or don't wait for her to clean. You get up and clean in the morning time. I've known men that do that. And then as far as with the child rearing, not acting like you did something because you changed one diaper out of the month. You know what I'm saying? If men really were like, okay, we're going to do 50-50, but it's going to be 50-50 everything because both of us have to work. We're going to go 50-50 down the line. And the guy was also emotionally available. I promise you, the majority of these women on the internet saying that they only want a rich man would go for that kind of situation. But
Yeah.
that's not what's going on. You know, men are saying they want 50-50 relationships, but what they mean is we want 50-50 on bills. And then over the long run, because once a man gets sex, if he can get sex from the woman, regularly, then they, men get lazy. They don't want to, a lot, and not all, but the majority, they feel like they don't got to do what they used to do. So then what it turns into is eventually he all of a sudden don't got the money he used to have, or he got it but he want to spend it in other places, and then the woman has kids and she's coming home doing most of the cooking, doing most of the cleaning, and then on top of that you got a man that's emotionally unavailable. She's tired and worn out and gaining weight. It's just a bad
Mm-hmm.
situation. So
Mm-hmm.
women are like, how is this winning for me? And then on top of that you want to cheat. On top of
Mm-hmm.
that I'm looking crazy. So, I mean, can you see how women are like, no, this ain't, this 50-50 thing, it seems like a scam.
Well, I think it's and I think it's impossible in nature to be 50-50 because at some point the woman has to take nurture and take care of a child, you know? So when the woman is, in labor or in the early parts of the development of the child, they have to be there, and the man has to be out, hunting and gathering. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Always bring it back to the fundamentals. So the man is really supposed to be out in the world getting the money, and if the woman can kick in and do her thing, that's a bonus. So I don't really, I would love to pay 50-50, but nowadays I don't see it as I would pay, like, let's say, like right now I pay 1,500 for my rent. If I had a girlfriend and we moved in together, I would love to only pay what, 900,
Mm-hmm.
and she pays six, because I'm getting a discount anyway. Why do I have to go half? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but
Yeah, no.
but there's a lot of women, when you move in, you're like, okay, this studio is too small. Let's go get a two bed, or let's go get a one bedroom. And the man is kind of like, I don't really want to spend all that money. So now that's when the man say, okay, well, I go half on that. So, I don't know. Sometimes the woman kind of has more, a bigger, it's like a bigger expenditure, or you know what I mean?
Well, that's true, because let
It's
me
like an
tell you,
add-on.
it is. Women are, here's the thing, women are here. Let me tell you something. For us to look the way y'all want us to look, because everybody keep talking about this natural beauty, and I don't consider myself a ugly woman or anything like that. I mean, I think people look good to, everybody look good to somebody.
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is I don't like and I hate to talk like this because it sounds arrogant, but it's not. Okay, most days I don't wear makeup, right? So I feel like on the cheaper end, and I don't wear a lot of hair extensions or weave or anything like that. Like I see a lot of women that spend thousands of dollars on their hair every month,
Hmm.
and so I'm on the cheaper end of it. You get what I'm trying to say? And I ain't
Hmm.
talking bad about women that spend a lot of money on their hair, because that don't necessarily mean they don't have hair. It's just I'm not spending all that. I'm gonna make this blowout do what it do.
Hmm.
Um, and I, go to the hairstylist every couple weeks to do my real hair, because I'm not spending all that money on weave all the time. But even for me, it's very expensive when you calculate going to the hairstylist for regular upkeep, getting your nails and your toes done. Even if you're not getting super long sets, a regular set of short nails with one fingernail color is $50. That's just for your fingernails. You add in your feet,
Mm,
you're easily hitting $120. Plus, you got to add the tip. And if you're doing that twice a week, come on now, twice a month, that's just on nails. And then y'all can say, oh, women don't got to do all that. But the women who are looking good and taking care of themselves, those are the ones who are getting the attention, and that's just the
that
reality
is
of
true. That is
that's
true
just the
because, like you
reality.
said, if the man isn't, if, like, say I'm in a relationship with a woman, I'd be like, why are you spending your money on all that? Like you said, I was maybe attracted to her on how she kept herself up. And then I started saying like, oh, you don't need to spend your money on that. You don't need to spend, and she'd be like, all right. And then I stopped. Oh, what happened to your nail? Well, you
Yep.
said you
Hmm.
wasn't tripping on that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, oh, okay, now I get it. So I understand what you're saying with that. You know what I mean? It is a certain
Yeah. Or
upkeep that has to happen.
Yeah, or I've seen men who complain to their wives about spending too much time at the gym. What men don't understand is we have to put in twice as much work as y'all at the gym. That's why I really see a lot of women who go harder in the gym as far as building stamina than men do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men, they go in the gym and like focus on like, trying to lift as heavy as they can. But I know women who, like, as far
Hmm.
as doing stuff that's just extremely athletic, once women get in the gym because they have to work super hard just to keep the body fat down, because we just naturally put on more fat than men, and we naturally burn less fat because we have less muscle. I've seen plenty of men that
Hmm.
tell they when we spend too much time at the gym, once you start gaining weight, now it's a problem. Oh, don't worry about that. You look
Yeah.
good. But once she done put on all the weight, now it's a problem. So it's a lot of upkeep for a woman. It's a lot of pressure on a woman that I don't think men necessarily consider. And another thing with space, see, women, we like to beautify any area that we're in. And if it's too cluttered, women literally get our cortisol levels go up. So we can't necessarily operate in a smaller space that looks cluttered because we will literally have a nervous breakdown.
Hmm.
So that's why a woman might ask you to
Yeah.
upgrade the space when y'all move in together. Now I can't move in with you in your one bedroom and then my kids sleep on the couch if I got a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't do that.
Yeah. 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 I don't
Okay,
know. I
so what
mean,
I'm gonna do, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hmm.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You didn't, I mean, you can finish your
No,
thought because
I
what I
was
was
gonna
gonna,
say. I think. Mhm.
no, go ahead. Continue.
I was gonna say. Well, it seems like nowadays that now that people kind of know about aura, like learning more about like the esoteric things like aura and vibrations, like energy is very sensitive right now, and people pick up on things very quickly. And so you really gotta be a good communicator nowadays, or else you can send a lot of mixed signals and red flags to people and you don't even know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. So and you know what? I've even had to talk to women about this. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. I'm quick to leave somebody where they at, whether they be a man or a woman. Like even just with trying to have female friends in my life. When I feel like somebody has purposefully done something wrong to me, or purposefully, I'm very quick to when I know that it's intentional. Okay, when I know it's just not a issue of miscommunication, I'm quick to just cut that off. However, there are also many times where I know that this is a miscommunication, or I can take accountability and say, I did not communicate what I wanted this person to do properly before I just jump to, oh, they should have understood or they should have known better. And I feel like I talked to a lot of women who I've had to, say, hey, well, did you talk to this person about that? Well, no, they should have known. Or it's like, no, that this is actually something that you have to communicate. Like you can't just expect people to know or just pick up on the vibes. You got to talk, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think personally the problem that I've seen is that I've had in my own dating life is even when I've tried to communicate, either the man don't want to talk about it, or we talk about it, and for whatever reason the behavior becomes worse. So it's almost like I'm working against myself. It's like they understand that I recognize what's going on, and I've talked to them about it, but because I'm choosing to stay, that means that I'm consenting to more of the behavior. So it's a lose-lose situation is what I've been feeling like. I feel like um they don't really understand until I'm actually done, and by then I don't want it no more. You get what I'm trying to say? It it's like, does that make sense? Hello? D Mally, are you there?
But it's not coming in.
Okay, I'm hearing you right now. You just cut back in. What did you
Can
say?
you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my bad. I'm messing up your live.
No, it's okay.
But damn. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's okay. Keep going.
It's
My
it's
bad.
okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play some more of this video of this interview with the rabbi,
Hmm.
and you can stay on if you would like to, and then we'll, when I stop, we can talk about it.
So, yep, I'll stay on for one more set.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why God invented marriage. Marriage is where the man becomes a husband and the woman becomes a wife. Now they need each other. Now they're not better off without each other. But as a man and a woman, you're better off without each other.
Correct. And this is definitely something that I share with the audience, because in relationships are based on need. And when you put a person in a needy situation, they end up compromising themselves, and they start to look outside of themselves for other people to fulfill these voids, which keeps both individuals incomplete, where they start to drain the life out of each other with expectations. Well, we're supposed to do this because we're in a relationship. This is what you're supposed to do. And in that instance, it forces people into an unnatural situation. And when it comes to marriage or just relationships in general, specifically dealing with the male, there's a reason why the male functions the way he functions. And no amount of medical interventions is going to change that. And it is due to the universal principles of how masculine energy functions and how feminine energy functions. And the male's brain wiring is drastically different from women's.
And
Which,
you know,
yes, I definitely do know.
pray tell.
Yes, okay. So what appears to be impediments for the male is based on a social expectation. Men are being judged on the rubric of a woman because women are naturally social. The male is naturally antisocial for reasons of survival. This is coded into his biology, simply because men are to compete with each other to gain access to women. This is just the hard wiring of the male nature, which means there are certain aspects about him that are turned down, whereas women have certain aspects about them that are turned up due to them needing to take care of the children and create a village with support within them. That's not necessarily how the male operates. The male operates naturally in a dominance hierarchical way. Because of that, it makes the male's life very difficult because he has codependent ways that he needs to come out of before he can actually stand on his own. In modern marriage today, men have been handicapped, never having to actually stand on their own. They have been told to seek a woman, and their expectations of the woman is to take care of all of these things that he can't perform on his own. So with the draft, there used to be the draft, so the military would take them in and they would take care of them. You know, I was in the military, and the way of life of the military, don't think, just do what we say, follow orders. We give you 3 hots and a cot, and that's it. So that's a form of being taken care of, never actually utilizing your own mental faculties and your own discipline to lead your own life. Outside of that, before he gets there, his mother took care of him, right? And the rules of society is place all of that pressure on the girl, cook for your brother, clean up, let him play video games or whatever. That's how this society is being run. Once he gets out of that, into the military or into the workforce where, jobs are given to him, duties are given to him, responsibilities are given to him through that mechanism, then he has a wife to pretty much take care of everything else. So he's not really been able to stand on his own and to truly become a man. So it's
Okay, D Mally, what do you think about what she just said?
Can you hear me? Hold on.
I can hear you.
Okay. This is perfect. So like I remember when I was with my ex, I was with a woman for
D Mally, you cut out again. You said you was with a woman for. Hello?
Oh man, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I used to tell her sometimes, like I used to tell my ex, like, man, I feel like I'm going from one mom to another mom. So, like I said, this break for me, this 8-year break, because I have a good body count. I have a lot of experiences. So this 8-year break is actually good for me because I need to find myself. I'm cooking for myself, doing all my things. So if I ever do get into a relationship with a woman, I will be equipped to, put in my work and put in my part. But,
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many men I've met who have never lived on their own in an apartment by themselves, or they did it for a short period of time. I like wholeheartedly believe what she's saying, and I actually learned this before I heard this. I learned this at the age of, I want to say 26, 27. So basically, when I was 24, I got into a relationship with a dude who still lived at home with his mom. And at that time, I was fresh out of college and I lived at home with my mom. Okay. So at that time, because I moved back from college. So I came back with my kid. So I wanted to move back to Dallas. My mom said, well, just come stay with me while you get a job and get everything back established here. So that's what I did. So when I met him, it's like I live at home with my mom, you live at home with your mom. And like that's just, it's okay. I'll date you. I didn't feel no way because he was working and he was never the type like, it while we were together, he would pay for everything. Like I've never given him money. If anything, he would give me money or help me pay for my daughter's daycare. However, the problem was I didn't understand how drastically different that men and women are in that regards. First of all, I had already lived on my own and paid my own way all throughout college. So it was something I already knew how to do. Then when I got with him, maybe not even 6 months later, I actually moved in with him at his mom's house, which at that time I didn't understand. That wasn't the move to make. You know what I'm saying? Again, being young. Now don't get me wrong, my time there was great. To this day, like his mother is my dog. I can call her for anything, right? You know how sometimes you meet people and you be like, I really dated you for your family. Like, you know what I'm saying? His mother is my dog. He has a whole nother girlfriend and a baby. But anyways, I ended up moving out the house maybe a year and a half after moving in with them, and I got my own apartment. And I moved out on my own. What happened is him and his mom got into an argument and he decided, okay, well, I'm just going to go. I'm gonna go live with Mariah. And what I
Yeah.
didn't move in with her, and what I didn't understand is this was not a rational decision that he made for
Yeah.
himself.
It
This
wasn't
was
put.
I'm upset with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then like maybe a month later he wanted to go back and make up. I hate to say it that way, but it was kind of like he made a rational decision. He didn't think about it, got scared of the responsibility, moved in with his mom, and broke up with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So anyway, fast forward. I wanted to get back with him at first, but then I just stopped. I don't know, something in me just clicked and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. So he came back trying to get back with me. So I said, let me watch and see, because the problem that I had with him that I noticed once I had given myself some emotional distance from the situation was that he was never going to be able to be, he was always going to be not good enough. Cuz I started thinking back and it was like there were times where I told him, "Hey, maybe you should go to school for this or you should go do that." He was fine with just working warehouse jobs and things like that. But I knew ultimately, watching the way the economy was going, that you're going to have to do more. Okay. He would always start things, then jump to the next thing. So it wasn't that he wouldn't work, it's that he wouldn't do anything consistently. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, and not even just thinking about me, he always would break up with his girlfriends and it would be for no reason. He would tell me, I don't really know. I just felt like I wanted to just be single. It was always inconsistent, never following through with anything, never standing on your own 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So when he came trying to get back with me, he had moved out of the house with his mom and into an apartment. So I said, let me watch what he does. Okay. Let me see, because I don't want to get back with somebody and I recognize that the issue that they have is gonna still be present and then we break up again. Well, 6 months after he moved out of the house with his mom, he moved back into the house with his mom. Why? No, for real. He said because it was too, rent was too expensive. Sir, get a cheaper place. Didn't nobody tell you he moved into one of the expensive apartment complex? Go get a cheaper place. Okay. Move back in with his mom. So I'm like, already this not gonna work. Anyway, he keep trying to deal with me. And finally, I just told him, I'm not gonna get back. You like this is not gonna ever work between us.
Mm-hmm.
Not too long after that, I want to say maybe a month after that, he left his mom's house. Mind you, he'd been trying to get back with me, left his mom's house and moved in with a girl
Mm-hmm.
and got her pregnant.
Mm.
So it's like and so that let me know I was correct because
Yeah.
you have shown me no evidence that you can stand on your own 2 feet. So that relationship taught me to not deal with men who can't stand on their own. So when I'm hearing Princella say this, I understand because I've seen it and I've seen how a man will be fearful if he never learns how to be without women. And I mean, truly without women, emotionally without women, to a point where you can't even think. You got to grind so hard to get to where you want to be that you don't even have time to stop and have, do the nasty. You head down and just focused on the mission. A lot
Yeah.
of men never been there at that point in life.
Yeah. I can identify with that story because my whole 20s I was basically supplemented rent from my mom and grandma. You know what I mean? And I really
Mhm.
regretted that. I wish that they kind of taught me how to at least kick in some money or get your own spot or kind of kick me in the ass and get me out because I'm paying for it now. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of time to just mess around now. I got to work all the time. I got bills that's built up. So it's like you said, you got to really get out when you're young and start taking that responsibility on. Um, because like you said, when you're not paying rent, like you said, he paid for you to, he paid when y'all went out and did little things for you, but he did that because he didn't have to pay rent. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Exactly. What about when you gotta pay this rent? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about? And it was fearful. I remember sitting down with him one time because I had lived on my own before. And before he even moved in with me, because at first, before I moved out his mom's house, we were thinking about moving out together. And I went over a monthly budget.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't include clothes, going out, nothing. This just what it takes to maintain having an apartment and all the necessities. And
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, he just looked so defeated when I started right. He was like, you making it seem like it's all bad and it's so expensive. Like you like, what's the point? I might as well just stay with my mom. This is what he said. And if I
Yeah.
had sense, which I didn't have no sense then,
Yeah.
I would have ended the relationship then.
Right there. Yep.
Not because he was
So
a
he
bad
told you.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not because he was a bad person, but because it was simply just not gonna ever work.
Yep. He told you exactly what you. He told you exactly what you needed to hear.
Yeah. It should have empathy because we're socialized, especially as young black girls, we're socialized to work with a brother. We're
Mm-hmm.
socialized to, give them some time. They'll grow up, they'll
Yeah.
mature.
Yeah.
We stay too long in situations that we shouldn't be in. And here's the thing, it's a catch-22. You're demonized for not holding them down, and you demonized for holding them down. Because then you should have chose better. So it's
Yep.
kind of like you gotta kind of not care, and you gotta just kind of go by your own beat of your drum, and just say this is just keep it real and say this ain't gonna work. This not gonna work. But at the time, I just didn't know, didn't have any guidance. But what I will say is that I'm blessed in that I learned very quickly. It
Right.
don't take too long. I'm 30 now, and I can't tell you how many women that I meet that's dating the same dude and going through the same situation over and over again. I promise you, I would never be in that kind of situation again. Okay, so I could keep going. Now, are you gonna stay on? I'm gonna play some more of this video.
Video is nice, but yeah, it's getting a little late.
Okay.
My brother calling me right now too. So I
Okay.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you for coming on.
Have a good night, Binky, Skinny Boy, all y'all. I love y'all. I'll holler back.
Yeah,
Have a
see
good
you
night,
next
Mariah.
time.
Thank you.
Love you too. Good night, good Mally.
All
You're
right.
welcome. Bye-bye. So Nicole, you are saying, you said there's an amazing book called How to Love a Black Man. There's a chapter called Love a Man for Who He Is, Not What You Want Him to Be. Because most people, you gotta finish that thought, Nicole. Yeah, so I do agree, Nicole. You should love people for who they are. You should love a man for who he is and not what we want him to be. I think where the confusion comes in is a lot of women thinks loving a man for who he is equates with staying with that man, being in a relationship with that man, sleeping with that man. No, you can love somebody for who they are and also not be in a relationship with them, not sleep with them. Okay? You can just say, "Hey, that's who they are." You don't have to make them your enemy or a bad person. They can just be a person that's just not gonna work for you, but you understand and respect who they are, but you also understand you and respect who you are enough to understand this just is not gonna work. I think the problem comes in is women try to force men, and that's not love. If you see somebody in the way that they are and you're trying to constantly change them and get them to conform to who you want them to be, then you don't even like them. You don't even like who they are. Okay? So then we want to talk about love. Well, again, you don't even like the person. You don't even respect who they are. So how y'all going to be in a relationship? And you can't come down, or you can't change you to kind of conform to who they are, because then you'd be disrespecting you and what you want. Some people just don't understand. It's just not going to work. Okay? So let's continue. Thank you, Binky.
it's handicapped him so greatly that where we are now, it appears that society is pulling the rug from under men, and women have a change in thought of how they should interact with men, which is leaving men in a very peculiar situation where they are panicking and not knowing how to stand on their own because they never did stand on their own. And I think that is a result of their brain wiring, because the male has always been given a duty by society. Go to war. That'll teach you to be a man. Create a family and be responsible for that family. That'll teach you to be a man. But he's never had an internal compass to say, this is my value add to society. This is what I'm supposed to do. They're looking externally for that. Women don't do that. We're like kind of hardwired to know what our responsibilities are, and we always look for a public service ad. The male is not like that. And if you don't guide him, he's lost. And that difference is what creates a lot of the chaos, even in relationships. Because if the man can't uphold the social expectations, even though he also has to control the sexual urges and all of the thoughts that are going through his head due to the flood of external stimuli, with having to do all of that and failing at societal expectations, the male is crumbling emotionally, and the woman doesn't really understand why. And because she doesn't understand why, she's unconsciously putting extra pressure on him to perform in a way that he really can't. And
is that what it means? It's not good for man to be alone?
Yes.
Yeah, but let's back up a little bit.
Sure.
This is what went wrong for men. What would be the right thing? In other words, what is a man before you mess him up?
He's just a male.
Which is what?
Which is
what would a man be if no one messed him up?
What would a man be? He would just be a wandering phallus looking for a external vessel to transfer his genes into and just try to figure out life. Either he's going to do that and perish or just try to survive. And that's just what he is until you put him in society and say, nope, you can't be that.
It doesn't give men a very good starting point.
It doesn't, but that's the basis of all life begins with the biological code, or
Now, I'm gonna say this. Princella, she be going hard. Okay. She be going hard. So she really kind of came at this with kid gloves. But what I do respect about the rabbi is that he was willing to listen. And honestly, exactly, that's what the book talks about. That's right. Yeah, so the rabbi is gonna talk. And honestly and truly, Binky, they do agree on most things. Even if you watch the whole interview, the rabbis, like when they really just kind of tie it all up, he agrees with everything Princella is saying. I think, honestly, Princella interviewed him because he did a video where he says the same things that she says. He just says it in a different way. I think men have a hard time kind of hearing the same. Like, for example, I've heard plenty of men say, all men cheat, right? All men are going to cheat on you. And those same men, when you say, well, then, if all men are going to cheat on you, then you shouldn't, if you can't handle that, then don't deal with them. Those same men. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? You shouldn't tell women not to. No, you said all men are going to cheat. All I'm saying is if you can't handle it or you don't want to deal with cheating, don't be with a man. Oh, well, I think you leading women in the wrong direction. Well, what do you mean? You see, in one breath, y'all want to tell us choose better. And then when we start choosing better, now we wrong because we not choosing you. So a lot of men have a problem with that. Skinny boy, it's not, I hear men say this all the time. I literally can pull up so many videos of men saying all men cheat. I personally don't believe that all men cheat. I feel like the vast majority do. I don't think that all men cheat. Okay. But even then, if you try to listen to what they're saying and try to move better, then you're wrong for that. Or you could say the same thing and it kind of sounds harsh to them because it's coming from a woman. Yeah, I don't understand why they have a problem with that message. Because this is the problem with it, Binky. A lot of men want to tell women who they are, right? They want to say, hey, we're going to be cheaters. We're going to lie. We're going to do all this. And what they want the women to do is adjust our expectations. So if I said those same things, if I was like, all men cheat and lie and do all this stuff, so women, y'all should just learn to just ignore it, or as long as you don't know and he's coming home to you every night, then you should put up with it. The man don't have no problem with me saying that. But when I say, okay, women, if they're saying this is what they're doing, then listen to them and leave them alone. It's the leave them alone that the men have the problem with, because that wasn't the goal of why they were telling on themselves. The reason why a lot of them get on here and tell on themselves is so that they can make us feel insecure, and so that they can make us adjust, and so that they can make us submit to who they are. They want to be who they are, and we still come give them the same love, attention, and affection, and admiration, and respect. But that's never going to happen, because women don't respect unintegrable behavior. Women don't respect a lack of discipline. It is just inherent to us. It disgusts us from the inside out. It's just something about that kind of behavior that automatically turn us off. So it's never going to work. It's never going to work if that's how you move. And the problem is that women are having is that they're not understanding it's not going to work. It's a lot of men on this planet that it's just not going to work. And it's better to just understand that it's not going to work and move around and stop. And here's the thing. Once you understand that a lot of those negative emotions that you're feeling, I'm not ever going to get anybody. This person was so great and they were so amazing, and it's the end of the world if I don't have them. Those are lies. It's not true. You was living before them. You're going to live without them. And honestly and truly, if the person was lying, cheating, being disloyal, embarrassing you, they are replaceable. Do you know I can find 1,000,001 people who were disloyal, lying, and cheating? You can go find that in the next 5 minutes after you break up with that man. Will Beyonce say, I can find another you in a minute? Yes. Okay. You are easily replaceable if you do any one of those things. What is difficult to find is somebody who is integrable and disciplined, loyal, and faithful. That is irreplaceable. And if you are none of those things, then I can replace you easily. No problem. I can find another man to make me feel just the way that you made me feel. Promise you I can. Men say women are asking for perfection when we say we want a faithful man. And this is what Princella, I love the way she breaks that down. And she talks about that with the Rabbi some in this video. And this is what women don't understand, okay? Because we are not wired like them. They literally want to spread their seed. We don't have genetic wiring in us to have as many babies as possible. We are focused on quality, not quantity. Okay. So men will try to say we think about doing the nasty as much as they do. We don't. And y'all need to quit going and telling them men that lie. Okay, you might find a man who, for whatever reason, you're really attracted to him because y'all built some kind of connection, and then your desire to do that intensifies. Or around certain times of the month when you're ovulating, your desire to do that intensifies. But we don't sit up and think about it the way they do. I remember I was talking to a dude. I was out on a date with him, and he told me that when he was in his 20s, he would not be able to sit and have a conversation for the length of time that he and I were having that conversation in that moment, because the whole time, all he would be thinking in his mind is, I wish he would shut the F up so we can hurry up and do it. He told me that when he got in his 30s, started getting, 35, finally his testosterone kind of started calming down, and then he could have full conversations with women without wanting her to shut up. Women don't think like that. I've never sat with a man and wished he would shut up so that we could go ahead and do it. So when we ask for, when we say we want them to be faithful and they say we're asking for perfection, it's because we're asking them to do something that seems impossible to them. It's an addiction. It's a biological wiring. Again, I'm not saying I don't believe there are men who are faithful. The men who are faithful live a life that is extremely disciplined, though. Do you understand the way a faithful man lives his life? For example, I'm gonna tell y'all what that looks like. And most men, they life not gonna look like this. I have a cousin. He trains boxers. He's trains professional boxers. He's well known in the boxing community. I'll say that. And I really respect and admire this man. But he's very disciplined. Now, he has a very happy wife. His wife was a teacher, but she don't work anymore. But she's happy. Like, you see her, she's being filled. A man is not taking from her. Do you understand? My cousin gets up and runs. He watches what he eats. He don't eat certain things. He does not drink. Any family event we go, I've never seen that man. He will not pick up liquor. He will not deviate from his diet. He will not go inside the strip club. None of that. You won't catch him there. And it's not because he gonna feel bad for doing it. It's because he understands that as a man, if he allows himself to get off track, and if he feeds certain desires and is not disciplined, then it can completely take you off track. So it takes men an immense amount of work, self-development, and discipline to be faithful. It really does. So when you ask them to be faithful, we don't understand the level of work that we're asking them to do. And for some, they just think about it and feel defeated. They honestly and truly do. That's what resonated with me when you first started talking about Princella. It's such a simple message. It's so simple. And people try to overcomplicate it. When you listen to this, it should free you. It really should. It should free you. And I really hate the fact that a lot of women are upset with her right now because she said we should have compassion for men. They feel like she's taking the men's side. And the reason why that's upsetting is because y'all been listening to this woman this whole time, and you think you've gotten the message, but you really ain't got the message. The message is not for you to hate men. The message is for you to separate. The message is for you to work on yourself. The message is for you to find purpose. The message is for you to be able to begin to move in a way that's beneficial to the planet, instead of giving all your energy into trying to make somebody into something that they just biologically can't and will not be, and real honestly and truly don't want to be. It's not for you to hate it. It's not for you to get on the internet all day calling men out their name. It's not for you to throw a pity party about men every time somebody talk to you. It's not about that. It's not about that. That's why I love being plant-based. It clears my mind. Okay, skinny boy, but you see, you had to do something because being plant-based isn't easy. You had to do some form of work that required discipline in order for you to have a clarity of mind. And don't get me wrong, women also benefit from having this sort of discipline. I don't think that we need it to the level of men that men do in order to control uh urges, to do the nasty. Okay, because we're just not built like that. But because we don't think about that, we don't have that thing to worry about. When we develop discipline, man, the sky is the limit. It's up for us. Do you understand? And then if you have a man who could do that, understand that he's struggling with things that you don't struggle with. And they try to say that we struggle with it. No, that's just not true. Women don't struggle with that desire the way men do. And you can't pay me. I think you might have had some women who might have been abused, or damaged in some kind of way, to where they feel like they might play that role for a man because they feel like their only value is in showing this man that she's the biggest freak. But that's not really who the majority of women are. Hell yeah, I did a 3-day water fast before I changed my diet. Now, not for the week. Yeah, not for the week at all. Not for the week at all. Okay, I'm going to continue to play some more of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, y'all, because I want y'all to go watch it. I think the rabbi is about to speak.
The 5 characteristics of life, we all follow it. So the male has to be trained to be social or to function in society.
Well, yeah, we all have to be trained.
Yes.
But what are we starting with? What gifts do men start with, and what gifts do women bring to the picture?
Well, everybody has different gifts. If we're talking about just on the biological level, there is no gift outside of biology if we're just speaking of procreation. But then when you get to the spirit level, though, that's where the gifts are here. And we are creators. We have things that we do, whether it's drawing, singing, painting, music, all of the art forms are gifts to this world that unfortunately we haven't been allowed to keep amongst ourselves and share amongst the community. Those have been capitalized on by external entities, but that's another topic for a conversation. But the fact of the matter is that we all have natural gifts that we can add to society. The problem for males is that their biological need overshadows the gifts that they could have. And so instead of transferring that energy into an external purpose, whether it be through arts or some creative effort, they're wasting it on coping mechanisms, right? They're wasting all of their energy through the desire for sex, which makes it really hard for men because of that. It's always that competition between men naturally that takes them off of a higher purpose. It's not that they don't have gifts, because we all do. It's just that they don't know where their ad is.
Let's try another approach.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So new approach. Okay. Well, let's figure this out. Okay. So I'm not blocking my thinking. All right. All right. What's the new approach, Rabbi?
God is creating the world.
Yes.
On Sunday, he created light. On Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on Friday, he creates the first human being and says, not enough to have man alone. I'm going to create a woman too.
Okay.
Why did he have to say that? Just create what you need to create.
Create, right.
You're on a roll. Go ahead.
Yes.
You're doing great.
Yes.
Why do you have to stop and say, not good for man to be alone, I'll create a woman? Just go ahead and create a woman.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the difference between the male and the female.
Okay, y'all pay attention to this part because it's really finna get good. It's really finna get, he's finna say it, but in another way. I think the way he says things is more palatable for men to hear, but he says the same thing.
Functions, energies.
Mhm.
Everything God created, up to man and including man,
Mhm.
is raw material with great potential. God said, that's not good enough. Now I got to create something that is what it's supposed to be, not only a potential.
Mhm.
So I'm going to create a woman.
Mhm.
So the difference between the man and the woman is the man has potential to be.
Mhm.
The woman is.
Correct.
So the man has this deep pressure to accomplish because he's not what he's supposed to be by nature,
Right.
by creation.
Mhm.
So he has to achieve, he has to accomplish, he has to fix something, acquire something that he doesn't have.
Mhm.
The woman, on the other hand, is perfectly content with who she is,
Mhm.
but wants to nurture others.
Mhm.
So she doesn't have that intense
Right.
fear of maybe not accomplishing and being a zero.
Correct.
You can go, as a woman, you can go from a 1 to a 10.
Mhm.
There's no zero
Right.
because I am what I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Now, the question is, how much can I nurture
Mhm.
in others? In some way, it turns out men thrive on fixing what is wrong.
Mhm.
Women thrive on nurturing what is good. Here's when men and women hang around together too much,
Mhm.
like a totally co-ed society.
Correct.
Men develop a need to receive,
Mm.
to be nurtured, and women develop this feeling of responsibility to change things.
Boy, now, when I tell y'all that Princella been saying this, she said this so many times. That what did that rabbi say? The woman already is. She just is from the womb. So when men be talking this talk about what do a woman bring to the table, we don't have to do what y'all do. I'm sorry, we don't. Then you get out of this man's mouth. This is a man saying men are born starting at 0. This is just natural. They have to become. You have potential. You have to become. What happens when you put somebody that already is with somebody who has to become? Okay, if you know about science, water finds its level, right? So eventually, there's gonna be areas in this woman that have to come down in order for her to be with that man. She cannot operate at her full potential and be with that man. She just can't. Because that energy from that man is going to want to take from her. And what did this rabbi say? When you put men and women together for too long, because of the nature of men and because of the nature of women, a man over time will sit in an energy where he stops giving and he wants to take. And there lies the problem. Because women get tired of that. So Princella has gone on, I'm going to take it back to Hardly Initiated, advocating for separation of the sexes. When she says that, people say she hates men. Here you have this man of the faith, a rabbi, who is saying that men and women should not cohabitate, should not be in co-ed spaces for too long. And earlier he was talking about, especially in terms of childhood, Because the man never gets an opportunity to learn how his life would be if he is not codependent on men. Do you know in Native American societies, all the men, most of the time, they'd be out hunting and gathering or at war, but all the men at a young age would take the boys away from the women and they would go in the wilderness without women. They train that boy up and then leave him where he's at. And if you don't, and now you got to make it back. And if you don't make it back, that's just life. Men have to go through the process of survival of the fittest. Men have to go through tough love and a type of self-development that women just simply don't have to. All we got to do is be us and keep living and creating and flowing. But the problem that women are having now is we've been taught so long that we're supposed to play a certain role in order to fit into a nuclear family that we don't even know how to maintain proper friendships and relationships with other women. We feel like women are the enemy. A lot of women don't even know how to be good friends. You have women who will let a man drag them through the mud. But as soon as their friend does something they don't like, it's over. The friendship is over. A friendship that they've been friends for years. You got a lot of women who can't be friends. I see these women always, every time they go to Miami, they fighting. Well, they was never friends. The reason why they in Miami together is because you look a certain way, you look a certain way. When we go out together and take these pictures, it's going to look like we all fine and having a good time and it's a good look. But secretly, we're competing with each other for male attention. So the second you do something wrong, I'm more than happy to go in on you. Because I always thought your butt was a little bigger than mine anyway. And I didn't like how that made me feel. Because the dude that I like came and hollered at you. And I didn't like how that made me feel. Because of this scarcity mindset that we have adapted, because we have been in proximity to men and they have convinced us that we are each other's enemy and that we need to compete with each other. For example, I'm gonna take this back when we talk about the racial dynamic. When black women stop doing what black men wanted us to do, well, that's fine. That's why we go to the white girls. Well, now the white girls don't even want to do that anymore. That's fine. That's why we gonna go over here and go with the Colombians and the women in Thailand, because they treat us, they better than y'all anyway. And and then you got women talking about those women over there when we're all really no different. Yeah, it is tough. Yeah, men struggle with reaching self-actualization. That's true. And I think a lot of women are having a hard time pretty much accepting that self-actualization is difficult for all people. I've known so many people who never self-actualize. Fear is paralyzing, right? And then when you have women, I can't tell you how many stories of women I've seen who never self-actualize because they spent their entire life chasing after a man and trying to get him to feel like she was worthy of being faithful to, which is so sad because that had nothing to do with her. That had nothing to do with her. His lack of being faithful had everything to do with him. So you spent your life trying to prove yourself to this man when you could have been spending your life trying to do something that brings you joy. And because of that, your other relationships are lacking. Your relationships with your children are lacking. Your relationships with your friends are lacking. Okay? Then on top of that, you get older, your husband died first. Guess what? You know how men say you're going to die alone? You might. Because where are your friends at? Why your kids don't fool with you? Because all you did was running behind men while they were growing up. It's a lot of other areas that cause us to be lonely and lacking in community. So I want to talk about, let's go to the question of this video. Should men lead women? I think there are a couple things that a woman should ask herself before she decides she wants to find a man to lead her. Because I see so many women on the internet always talking about, I want a man that can lead. I want a man that can lead. I want a man that can lead. Why do you need leadership? Ask yourself that. Why do you need guidance? Now, everybody needs guidance in some areas, but what is it specifically? Be specific. What areas in your life do you feel like you are insufficient in, that you need another human being to guide your steps? So you have to start there. Okay? There's nothing wrong with recognizing that you have a lack, or that you might not have all the information that you want. The problem, though, is women, for simple stuff, maybe you don't, maybe you lack education in finances. Okay? Well, you don't have to go be in a relationship with a man to help you with that. Go take a business course. Go talk to a financial advisor. There are plenty of YouTube videos. You don't need a man to fill in the gaps in that area. And then on top of that, you'll recognize that you are blind in these areas. And then when you decide to choose a man to so-called lead you in these areas, you don't even choose a man who has shown evidence that he is even capable of leading you in those areas. Do you need to be led spiritually? This is why I love Buddhism, because spiritual work has to be done with the self. And if you have to be in a long-term committed relationship in order for you to stay in your spiritual journey, then that defeats the purpose of the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey is for you to go inward, not to be codependent on another person. Do you need leaderships in terms of paying the bills or finding a job for yourself? Again, these are things that even if you seek guidance on it initially, you're going to need to be able to do these things by yourself. What if something happens to the man that you're with? See, this is the measure of good leadership. If that person leaves you where you're at, or they die, something happened to them, are you able to continue on in the same or a greater capacity without them? And if you cannot, I'm going to argue that person wasn't even a good leader. Because any good leader, first of all, inspires you to follow them. They don't have to force you to. And second, they prepare you to go do it on your own. Leadership is not something that people should look for in relationships. That's asking too much from another person. And that's not accepting responsibility for parts of your own life, aka being lazy, being unaccountable. And guess what? Some people are fine with being lazy and unaccountable. And you might be the kind of person that needs somebody to lead them all their life. And that's fine. if that's how you choose to live your life. But in all reality, any woman who is willing to go develop herself in the areas that she's lacking in and seek leadership from capable people, it could even be a capable woman. I remember when I became a teacher, I had a mentor teacher who was the best at what she did. And anytime I need help and guidance, I went to this woman. But guess what? Because she was good at what she did, I became good at what I did. And I don't have to go to her for as much guidance anymore. Over time, that lessened. I'm able to stand on my own 2 feet. But guess what? She was a woman. I didn't need to go specifically to a man for it. I didn't have to be in a relationship to get the guidance that I needed at that time. Not that kind of a romantic relationship. So the question of whether or not a woman needs a man to lead them, it's really a question of, are you willing to be accountable and responsible for your own life? And if you are, then you really don't need to be with a man to lead you. And if you're not, then choose wisely. That's all I'm going to say. Because if you're not willing to be responsible and accountable for your own life, I highly doubt that you have the skills that it takes to actually pick somebody who is a good leader who will not abuse their power. Because you're not even willing to develop the emotional intelligence and the knowledge of psychology and the knowledge of sociology to even be able to understand what good leadership looks like, because that requires too much work of you. Stay on the matter, guys. I know this was a long live, but I had a good time. And I'm really glad for the participation. Make sure that y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share my video. And again, guys, on my community tab, if y'all go on there, I have a small group workshop. I only have 5 spots for overcoming toxic relationships. Y'all, it's going to be really good. If you go on the Eventbrite, I have the itinerary on there. I'm going to, email you worksheets beforehand so that you can have them while we're doing the workshop. And I'm going to try to do one of those about once a month. So if you are really struggling with being in a relationship and you need to get out of it, or let's say you already out of the relationship, but you are just having a hard time letting go. You're stuck in a rut. Because of that, you feel anger, and you're not moving in other areas of your life because you're stuck there. This is going to be the workshop for you. Okay. We're going to go deep and we're going to get to the bottom of things. And by the time you leave that workshop, we're going to have developed a plan with actionable steps that you can take to move forward. Okay. Trust me, I am the queen at turning lemons into lemonades. Yes, Binky, this was really great. And Nicole, thank you for showing up. I had an amazing time. Hopefully I can come on here Friday or Saturday. It's gonna be one of the two. Probably gonna end up being Friday night. So I'll let y'all know a couple days before. And again, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. And I really do appreciate the support. I want to give a shout out to all of my brand new subscribers. We're on our way up on this channel, and I don't take for granted anybody who's watching me, even those who come to troll me. I welcome that too. Y'all welcome to come troll in the comments. I might even entertain you. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night.